विश्वं दर्पणदृश्यमान नगरीतुल्यं निजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिर्उद्भूतं यथा निद्रया यः साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयम् तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः श्री Dakshinamurtaye. This was the first verse in Dakshinamurti Stotram we saw earlier. This is given by Adi Shankaracharya. We spoke about the image, the depiction of Lord Dakshinamurti, the iconic incarnate of Lord Shiva. He awards wisdom and annihilates ignorance in one. His very depiction was communicating. It is communicating what is actually this Atman is, the one Supreme Self is, how the intelligence is, without a second. And we went through the first stotram also. In each verse, there are certain keywords. In the first verse, there are actually two keywords are there. One is Pashyanna Atmani and the other is Swatmanam Eva Advayam. Swatmanam means one's own self. Moment to moment, thoughts originate and we as thoughts we are living. The life as such is going on is an expression of thoughts. So we live in thoughts, by thoughts, through thoughts, thoughts consisting of both audio and video. Here in the first verse we saw Swatmanam eva advayam. One's own self is a secondless, holistic oneself. Oneself. There is no other at all. What did he mean actually? He meant your deep sleep, your dream states and the waking states, everything passes by in one complete holistic fullness. Holistic fullness. Nothing stands apart from it or away from it. It is only one subjectivity actually is the meaning of that word Swatmanameva Advayam. The second word Atmani Pashyanna. Everything is one sees within his own center, within his own self. A dream is dreamt by one within himself. We fall asleep. Suddenly, we are enveloped in dream. As a dreamer, one is totally unaware of when the dream actually started. Nothing is known to that particular dreamer who is undergoing that dream at the moment of, at the period of dreaming. At the period of dreaming, Only dream is happening. Nothing is actually known. One dream envelops one. Dream is enveloping one. That's how the dream happens. This also, he says, it's happening in that self. See, why at all a verse be given as Dakshinamurti Stotra? Dakshinamurti represents then the one holistic, one self without the other. There exists no individuals at all in that one self. If we think that we are individuals, I am thinking, I am wanting, I am expecting, I am hurt, this is mine, all these thought patterns, everything is, they do not exist apart from that one supreme self. That is what was actually meant in that particular, the other word, Atmani Pashyana. One sees the dreaming also happens in that subjectivity. The waking state also happens in that subjectivity. Just like how the mirror reflects the objects that are put in front of it, the things which are appearing as reflection in the mirror are not the real objects. The objects are something away from it. But here, the one whole itself dreams in an individual also as a dream state. The one whole itself lives in the waking state as an individual. It sees through him, it hears through him. The reflection is also happening within it. This is what the very crucial point to be understood. Nothing is away from it. Nothing is apart from it. This is what Shankaracharya has said in that verse. This fact made known to me by that Supreme Lord through silence. Because the very practice itself is happening within oneself and in silence. One practices in silence. It is not the silence of the, it is not a physical silence at all. Nor is it the silence of the senses. The senses is completely withdrawn. The very posture we were discussing, it was depicting the truth. It was communicating the perfect, the communication perfect is the image of Lord Dakshinamurti. This truth the Lord has made known to me, He has revealed to me. It is only He as my Atman, because even for the realization to happen, it is actually being revealed. One on his own strength does not attain this. It's a happening, it's a blossoming, it's a flowering, it's a revelation. Since He is the Supreme Lord, whatever the blossoming or the flowering or the revelation that happens is the revelation of the Lord. It is depicted as Lord, and it is symbolized as the image Dakshinamurti. And Dakshinamurti is one's own Atman, which is complete, full. Whatever that is happening in me as my waking state and my dreams and my deep sleep, they do not exist separately from that one supreme Atman. The moment I say one supreme Atman, that doesn't mean it is something away, somewhere in the sky. Everything, the whole of the cosmos, universe, oceans, mountains, individuals, everything that has come into manifestation. From the minutest particle to a falling star, to a disappearing star, everything exists in it. It's the abode. We will go to the next stotram. Here I have given the essence of the second stotram also. Dakshinamurti Stotram 2. Live transmission of the transcendent, because it is in communion. It communicates. Communication perfect is the image of Lord Dakshinamurti. The very image makes one to withdraw within and abide silently within one. It leads to oneness. That is the power of that image. It communicates, you are everything. You are complete. Primarily, you should not search elsewhere outside of you. It is you who is the fullness. Now, for the second stotram, I have given the essence of it. He is the abode, cause of everything. He is the abode. Whatever exists, that exists in him. We are using masculine gender. Somehow we have to communicate. It doesn't have any gender at all. Neither gender nor numbers. 1, 2, 3 like that. No numbers. Everything abides in that. It is the only abode. At this moment, whatever the feeling or the thought that arises in me, it arises from it. It exists in it. It disappears unto it. It dents me with an impression or not. As I said, the minutest particle to a falling star. It is the abode of everything. Not only abode, it is the cause of everything. A human being cannot know the cause of any event that is happening to him or in the external world. The question that starts with why. Why am I born? Why am I born as a man? Why am I born in this family? why have born without skills? Why have I born with these capacities? Why am I born intelligent? Whatever it may be, the questions with why is the only cause. That's why we cannot, with our intellect, come out with an answer for any of the why questions. Be it an outside happening, externally, physically, the cosmic event, or my own birth, my own life, day-to-day life, moment-to-moment life. Birth envelops one. One is made to born. It is not because of my volition or by my will I am born. I am caught up in ignorance. Ignorance in the sense I register, I am motivated, I am with influences. I always live with influences. I always live in between likes and dislikes. There are drives, motives in every one of us, from a cell to a star. Everything is made to act. Everything acts. But with an individual, in an individual only, he is endowed with this subtle body called as mind or consciousness, wherein he can look into all these things until the level of animal kingdom, right from one cell amoeba. They are left with no mediums to probe into any of these things. A deer or a dog cannot look at the sky, cannot comprehend itself as it is in that body. It is already driven by the instincts and impulses. Its every moment life is driven by instincts. Thirst, hunger, security, physical safety. Not even aware what it is, in which body it is. A compact software called that animal, that dog, has a subtle body, has a dog's mind. Without even aware that it is so, it knows it's made for procreation. It envies the other dog's entry into its area, fights, competes. All these things are nothing but instincts up to the level of animal kingdom, wherein the mind is not left with to see anything objectively at all. Here, the only being, the highly evolved system in this cosmos is nothing but the human mind. That is why Adi Shankara Bhagavad has given in the Viveka Chudamani, Janmanam Narajanmam Durlabham. out of many birds, out of so many birds that have come into being, only the human mind is very difficult to get. For one to attain human birth, it is very difficult. Because of this very unique quality. What is that unique quality? I can see my comparison that is arising in me as I am seeing externally another person. With him, though I am talking with him internally, my mind is evaluating about him, about his looks, about the way he expresses himself. All this minutely together, they go at the same time. This movement, this intellectual process goes at the same time, moves at the same moment. The same moment as I am relating with him through a talk, I am also judging him, evaluating him in comparison with the image I hold about myself. This none of the beings do in the cosmos except a human being. That's why it is the most powerful instrument which is actually not understood and drained away. It is being drained. It is always caught in the externals. The senses caught in the externals. The individual mind has gone with the external things. He has lost himself. He is fully distracted. That is why the whole process of dharana, dhyana, samadhi and the investigation about one's own self does what it brings in slowly by and by. One is coming back to one's own self. One needs tremendous avakasha. Avakasha means the mental space, the silence within oneself. One needs a razor-like sharp intellect. Because the turning in requires all the energies, the energy one has should not be wasted. It should be collected. For the inner gaze, one needs this. To look within, one needs tremendous energy, tremendous silence. The habitual mind, which has been thinking like a machinery, we have been living like a thinking factories. Every one of us lives like a thinking factory. Audio, video, images going on all the time till one becomes tired and falls asleep. And everything dissolves. The whole machinery with that individuality as that person, that entity, everything disappears. This has been going on. When are we going to really wake up? We will see the next verse. Here in this verse, We'll go through the verse first. Bijasyantari vankuro jagadidam prang nirvikalpam puna maya kalpita desha kala kalana vaichitriya chitrikritam maya viva vijrumbhayatyapi mahayogiva yasvechaya asmai Sri Guru Murtaye Namaidam Sri Dakshinamurtaye Bijasyantari vankuro jagadidam prang nirvikalpam puna maya kalpita desha kala kalana vaichitriya chitrikritam maya viva vijrumbhayatyapi mahayogiva yasvechaya tasmai Sri Guru Murtaye Namaidam Sri Dakshinamurtaye. Here in this verse, what are the main words which convey the essence of the verse? What are the main words? One is Maya Kalpita Desha Kala Kalana. Maya Kalpita Desha Kala Kalana. What is this Maya? We undergo 3 states. Everyone undergoes 3 states. It happens mechanically. We take everything for real. Mostly we know only the waking state. It is not even as a state we know. Our life is nothing but waking state. Thinking has become the nature. We do not even aware that the body does not think. Through the body, something else called as mind thinks. I am thinking. My momentary living, moment to moment, this momentary living throughout the waking state always happens as if thinking is a very normal happening. By thinking only, I feel I amness also. As if the thinking is happening in the body, within the body, and the body thinks. The body thinks. Does the body think? Who is the thinker? That is what is the crucial crux question. Finding that out is the real spirituality. Who is the thinker? Who is the thinker? The same thing you can put in all the words also. But basically the thinker is the seer. If I see something, I am called as the seer of that thing. The seer of that particular sight. If I listen to some song, if I go to some programs and listen to some songs, I am the hearer of that program. I am listening to that program. The same process. Mind that got involved in that particular activity is called that listener. Mind which sees through the eyes is the seer. A little bit it goes here to the deeper level. From the body, when I say I am seeing, still I hold the very fundamental idea that the moment I see, when I use this word, I am seeing, I actually mean I am the body and I am looking at something. I am seeing something. I am listening something. I am writing something. I am reading something. This is what is happening throughout the waking state. And what happens at the end of the day? The whole waking state suddenly disappears with the center. One who with all the activities identified himself as I am going, I am seeing, I am experiencing, I am happy, I am sad, I am depressed, I am hurt, I am jubilant, what not, throughout the waking state. And at the end of the day, what happens? Sleep engulfs one. Deep sleep engulfs one. How can one omit the other two states, namely the deep sleep and dream state? Will it be a perfect investigation? One who is actually investigating also, when I am actually investigating, especially when I investigate about my own origin within me, my own origin, this separate center, from where does it originate? When this investigation starts in me, then only actually the investigator, without an investigator, this investigation alone is without investigator. When I am meditating, the meditator ceases. But in thinking, thinker grows, he bloats, he solidifies himself more and more, he accumulates, he evaluates all his experiences. Whereas in this investigation, what happens? When I probe the way in which the thoughts originate, what happens? Because it is not a thought or an observer who is probing this. It is something of awareness itself which is looking at it silently without a center. Silently, the observation takes place silently. This is after realizing the fact that one is not all these things, the investigation starts in one. But before that, one who doesn't know, one who has taken himself to be the body with all its activities as I am the doer, I am going, I am coming, I am reading, I am educated, I am not educated, I am well placed, I am not well placed, I have a job, I don't have a job, I am capable, I am not capable, I am good, psychologically I am a good person, I am an honest man. I am not respected, whatever it may be. Psychological level, physical level, I am a learned person, I have many degrees, I have acquired many degrees, all these things. So with all these complete activities with which one identifies himself throughout the waking state, and the waking state disappears into something, sleep envelops him, Suddenly there is completely a pause period without even the center knowing what it is, how it is, and all these things. So that is the deep sleep state. From one state of full activity, furious activities, the activities disappear, the center with the activities also disappear. He is enveloped by deep sleep, and suddenly he is made to dream. He is in a dream. He is dreaming, bringing the whole physical world within that subjectivity, something called as the same consciousness, the one consciousness, as if like a magical expression, magical display. Just like a magical display. Magically things happen. Dream happens magically. When one dreams, can he know how such a big vast forest or river fall, waterfall, in which he is taking bath, how come such a very big place with himself as taking bath, how does it happen within one? The key word gives the answer to this. What is that key word? Maya kalpita desha kala kalana vaichitriya chitrikritam. This whole universe is the display or the expression of that Supreme Self. That Supreme Self itself is the complete, from it. Just like as a magician brings out things from nowhere. You would have seen a lot of magics that are being shown in the TV. From a small bag, the magician brings out a person. There is nothing under the bag, beneath it, nothing. A small bag, small box, small cardboard box, from which a person comes out. From nowhere, holding a big curtain in a vast open area, suddenly you find an army vehicle with hundreds of persons. A moment ago, in one continuous shot, he displays all these things. But the magician knows he works for that. He works for this to happen. He knows the secrets behind his magic. In the same way, the whole of the cosmos, just like a magical play, how does the magic happen? We through us, it expresses. When one wakes up into waking state, one does not wake up just like that. He identified himself as his physical body. He has the feel of getting up and thinking that he is that physical location. When the moment he got centered within that physical location called his physical body, that very state itself, when the location comes, with the location time also comes. Time is an eventual happening of space. Be it thought. Thought is occupying a mental space. It is mana akasha. What are thoughts? They are filling up the mana akasha. How have we taken ourselves generally? We think, I am this, within this body aperture, within this periphery of this body, the mind is working, and one thinks the seat of mind is in the head, that is the brain is called mind, and Atman must be somewhere inside the body. But is this the fact? If one probes, if one investigates just dream state, where does it happen? Inside or outside? The moment one falls asleep, sleep is a state, where does it happen? Inside or outside? It is total absence of thinking. It is not one is doing sleep, one is making sleep, one is getting into sleep. Sleep happens. Sleep happens in one. Sleep is a happening. I cannot even say it's happening to one. That's all. When one is asleep, whether inside or outside, where is the location? That is why even the location goes. The question of location, until one is falling asleep, he was furious in thinking with all his I am, me, by me, with me, of me, for me, mine, in me, on me. All these combinations were going on furiously. His accumulations, his carryovers, his attachments. What else are we? So, until falling asleep, one is filled with all these things, and suddenly nothing. Is it not like a magic? This is happening to every one of us every day. One moment ago, he was talking something. The next moment, a big snore. One is surprised. What is this? A moment ago, he was talking. A big snore. That's all. He is fully asleep. Snoring. Heavily. However, whatever the kind of activity one is getting on with in the waking state, however powerfully he may be in his waking state, holding a role, having a role here in this world, having different roles, different powers of money, and psychological powers, and the world that has given him the designations, the powers that come along with the designation he holds. Everything with his possessions. He may be a millionaire or he may be a pauper. He may be a talented or he may be a totally incapable person. He may be an achiever, totally redundant. Until a moment ago, before falling asleep, he was all these things. Not even a trace is left with now in deep sleep. Everything disappeared. Whether he is inside or outside. Does it not happen like a magic? This verse says that. Mayavi eva, just like a magician, vijrumba yat api. Vijrumba, how the magician produces things from nothing. Just like a magician, Mahayogi. Who is this Mahayogi? That Supreme Self. Here Adi Shankaracharya says the Supreme Lord, Dakshinamurti, as the Supreme Self. The Lord Dakshinamurti is our own Atman. He is the Anma Guru. He is the only Guru dwelling in everyone, in each thing. The only Lord, the only Supreme Lord. He explains, Adi Shankaracharya explains how, like a magician, from nothing, he brings out things, animals, birds, persons, etc. Just like that, that one as the Mahayogi. Mahayogi means what? Capable of anything and everything. The omnipotency rests in him. He is the omnipotent. That we are all nothing but his products. In the worldly parlance, one may be a powerful person in the society. In before of that, all that powers and everything, as if when one falls asleep, how everything dissolves and disappears, no trace is left with, the same way everything goes into nothing, and suddenly again everything comes out. This is what is Maya. Maya kalpita. It is the production of Maya. Maya is also his capacity. Again, the moment I say the word Maya, you should not again configure it as if something having a separate existence. We have no existence at all. Because of karmas, because of karmic activities, here everything is existing. Everything exists because of its inherent karmic causes and effects. Why one is born? Because he has lot of karmic activities left with that have to get expressed now. That is why the birth, including the physical body, be it any body, any family, any gender, that's not a matter. It knows. It carves out on its own method, in its own way. Until and unless at one right moment one is graced or one is actually seeking very sincerely, earnestly, really, who am I? Oh Lord, grace me to realize, to know who this entity is. It is the cry one should actually make. Otherwise, this mechanical, magical play goes on and on and on. Ceaselessly. There is no end to it unless one is really honest, one is really sincere, one is really serious. Here one has no time at all, sir. This one has to understand. The affections, the relationships one carry as family, friends, society, things, possessions, all these things, everything disappears in his deep sleep. Every day's death is deep sleep. It is a sample given wherein in deep sleep one is actually fully rejuvenated. After a good sleep, what happens? One who wakes up becomes more active, more self-centric, because he does not know basically. He thinks, he is thinking, the body is thinking, he is the body, the body is the mind. Nothing is, the orbits are not clearly known to him. What is the real way in which that works? How does it work really? In one Atman, in one supreme being, one supreme intelligence, this psychosomatic system passes three states. It is passing through three states. That is what is the actual fact. In that one supreme cell, this psychosomatic, the moment I say psycho, it is mind. So somatic means this is the body, physical body. They go together. One never differentiates when one sees that he never realizes that my eyes are seeing and my thought wanted to see this particular movie or this particular person. Doesn't go, he doesn't think in this way. He thinks that he is the seer. He is the one who is in this relationship with the world. So always this constant delusion. His eyes are covered. His mind is fully confused, taking that in the body the mind is, and within the mind, if at all any God or anything, not even in the mind, God is somewhere in this cosmos, somewhere up in the sky, or somewhere after the fall of this physical body called death. Until then, there is nothing. The God is available somewhere in temples or some other religious places. Not really within him at all, because he has driven the God out of him. That is what is that is how is the way ego works in one. How does the ego come into play? First, it occupies this one as it. it identifies itself with one's body. With one's body it identifies. Body immediately represents desha, place, a physical location. One should seriously doubt this. Am I this? Am I living within these contours? Am I the entity only constricted within this periphery? Am I falling within this circumference? Am I this entity which is within this circumference? And you, he, she, they, it are all something away from him. Always there is a movement from this center, be it psychologically. He doesn't know that there exists subtle body which is doing all these things, and which totally with this physical body, with the universe also, it disappears in sleep. Nothing is understood here. This shop opens in the morning with the waking entity arises from it. And what are the things he trades? His own attachments in the form of I am, me, by me, with me, of me, for me, in me, on me, and mine, my family, my knowledge, my house, my things, my business. This shop opens with these things as the tradable. He himself is the ego is the trader. He trades, doing all these things with the world, with persons, with relationships, with roles, with the worldly material things and possessions. These interactions bring in lot of conflict in one. This is what is one's life throughout the waking state. The center, the very trader in this shop, he disappears with the shop, with the things he is trading in this world, that is the whole world. Everything and his possessions and everything totally disappears in the same, for the same entity, Here, in this verse, what he says, Bijasya antar eva ankuraha. Bijasya antar means in the seed. How the whole tree, I am holding a seed in my palm. What does it communicate? What does it convey? What does the seed convey? The seed is at this moment, at this point in time, that is held in my hand, actually shows the complete eternity, a timelessness. Though it is as a location, I am holding a seed, it is the essence of the complete past. There was no beginning to this at all. This seed must have come out of a fruit, of a tree. And this seed represents the essence of the tree from which it has come now. And that tree, that again came out of a seed. And that seed, infinite regressions. So the complete past is meeting as a location in my hand. And this seed, if it is sown under the soil, this becomes this germinates as a seedling and becomes a tree, and it comes out with a lot of fruits. Again, those fruits, this is the mother seed for all those fruits and all those seeds and all those innumerable trees which are going to come out of those seeds that have come in this particular tree. Complete future, that is timeless future and timeless past. What is here and now? Actually, you cannot call it as seed. This seed is identical to eternity itself. Eternity itself. What is actually one human being? What is this human being? Is he the physical body? If the physical body has any intelligence, it cannot forget that intelligence and lose that intelligence and fall asleep in deep sleep. If the body inherently has intelligence, it should not fall asleep. It should resist death. What is the actual happening in one? One is not even aware in deep sleep that he is bitten by a mosquito. Someone comes for cold, he is feeling the coolness all around his body in deep sleep. He is needing a blanket to cover himself. One is not even aware in deep sleep. He contracts himself, the whole body. He contracts the whole body. Someone passes by, what they do? They cover him with the blanket and go. Total ignorance. That is the state of deep sleep. So the deep sleep, suddenly as if identification with the body and the world through mind, the mind becomes like a shopkeeper, the center which assumes as itself as the body, works like a shopkeeper. It opens the shop for trade and persons, things and persons. Where is the real center? Which is the real center? What is this? Three states which go on arising and disappearing. This is what he says. Just like in the seed, bija, how the complete past and future trees are existing at now, in the same way, in Maya, what is Maya? Unawareness, ignorance of all these minutest details about one's own workings, the inner workings, which is held by what? Actually, everything is in one supreme self, which is non-locational, impersonal, omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresence. Omnipotence means what? The potency is everywhere. What is omnipresence? At all places. It is present also. What is omniscience? It is the basic intelligence. It is the intelligence. Whatever the objectivity through which one has accumulated ideas, informations and processing, the degrees that are given by the universities and colleges, they are all for what? They are all for making money and feel secure in our waking state life. Of course, physiologically, physically, one needs security. But one has lost himself in accumulation of wealth or anything. More, more, more. I want more. The accumulation process never stops. Never stops. Not knowing who accumulates. Why does one accumulate at all? Because he has taken himself to be the waking state. This is what Adi Shankaracharya in this verse, he says, just like in the seed, how the complete past and future trees are present at this moment, here and now, that is being held in my palm, in the same way, the universe with the individual, the moment, see, normally what we say, we often use all the words. We say universe, we say the world. And the words confuse everyone. Words confuse. The moment I say world, am I not included this physical body as a separate name and form, which is moving, animating, doing all so many actions in the waking state? Is it not included in it? The moment I say world, is it not here? That is what he says. The whole Jagat is like in the seed form, and he is in the deep sleep. When one is in the deep sleep, it is there. That man or that individual wakes up with his own world, with his own identifications, with his own shop. No one forgets what he was doing the previous day before falling asleep and enters some other shop. I trade in this shop, through this shop, with this shop as myself. Isn't it? That is how we wake up. I wake up to this name and I live as this form, and then as this form I have taken over all the relationships with things, with persons, with all the feelings that are emerging out of those relationships as I and myself. Is it not the same shop to which actually one wakes up the next day also? Is it not like a shop getting opened every day and shut down during day sleep? Again some other world emerges if one enters dream, if one becomes dreamy and starts dreaming. Are these things not happen like a magical display? Who does this? Here for this who only, he says in the third line, Mayaviva. How the magician brings out various things from nothingness, our individual, each person's waking state, with his world, with the real external world too, the physical world too. Because one is so attached with the world. How? In the form of the trade which one has been carrying on. Through that, those affections, those attachments wake up. So those attachments are the world. Those attachments, and the first basic attachment is that he has the body as that particular shop, and he has that intellect as the trader, as the businessman of that shop, and the world as such, the things in which the transactions are taking place, is going on in every waking state. This is what he says. Mahayogiva yaha svechaya. Who the self, from where these states arise. These states arise out of his yogi. Yogi means one who has actually united, one who is everything. Who is a yogi? One who has attained, one who has become the object of his objectivity. I'm learning a language, sir. What happens? By and by, I become that language. The proficiency of the language becomes me. Inseparably, it becomes me. I am learning to ride a bicycle. In the beginning, what happens? I am not able to maintain the balance. I fall often from the cycle. As I ride the cycle, so with someone's help, what happens? The balance tilts and I fall. Often and often, what happens? Somewhere within the body, an alertness evolves, and what happens? Slowly, for a distance, I am able to ride without falling. I catch up that. I catch up, my body catches up that knack of riding the bicycle. In some moments, what happens? By and by, practicing it, in 3 days, through the body I learnt it, cycling, riding a bicycle, and it has gone beyond the body. Somewhere it has become my jnana. I can never forget it, even if I do not ride a bicycle for another 20 years, and after 20 years suddenly I will have to ride a bicycle. I feel I do not have to remember it. As I am given a bicycle, I will be able to ride it. It has gone beyond the physical things. It has gone somewhere deep down. This is what is actually yoga. Mahayogi is Sadashiva, the Lord himself. He is the omnipotent Lord. All the powers are him. Whatever the powers that we display in our waking state, everything emanates actually from that center only, from the Atma only. It is not our powers at all. You cannot say that the body is expressing those powers. It is not because of the body. So he is the Mahayogi who out of his own involuntary, see, he doesn't do it. It doesn't do it. In its presence, the very presence of it, the very presence of the Lord makes everything here to act, to live, to see. If I see through my eyes, it sees through these eyes. If I listen, if I hear, it is it. Can one live like this throughout the waking state? That is why here the practice of bare attention has to take place in one. We have been seeing quite often about bare attention. What is bare attention? These all put together, omnipotence, omniscience, omnipresence, all put together. Rest in bare attention. What is bare attention? A centerless attention. It is just like space. space, universe, galaxies, everything is in bare attention. Bare attention is not a tangible thing. What will one say if one is asked, where are you? Where are you going in your deep sleep? Where were you in your deep sleep? What will be the answer? No, I don't know. Were you alive? No, I don't know. Were you dead? I don't know. Were you both alive and dead? I don't know. None of these answers. Everything is carried out because of our ignorance. That is what the last line always, with his profound salutations, he finishes. Tasmai Sri Gurumurtaye Namaidam Sri Dakshinamurtaye. We will sing the verse again. Bijasyantari Vankuro Jagadidam Prang Nirvikalpam Puna Maya Kalpida Desha Kala Kalana Vaichitriya Chitri Kritam Maya Viva Vijrumbayatyapi Mahayogi Vayasvechaya Tasmai Sri Gurumurtaye Namaidam Sri Dakshinamurtaye. So, this is how the verse is given. He in whom this universe, prior to its projection, was potentially present like a tree in a seed, and by whom it was wrought to its multiform by the magic, as it were, of his own will, or in the manner of a great yogi out of his own power, to that Dakshinamurti, the Supreme Being, embodied in the auspicious and benign Guru, I offer my profound salutations. This is how the verse is given here. We will stop with this. We will meet another